Well, y'all, it's not a good day for warmongers. It's not a good day for neocons. It's not a good day for NATO fundamentalists. It's not a good day for American imperialism. It's not a good day for globalists because it looks like there's going to be a negotiated peace in the war in Russia, between Russia and Ukraine, or in Ukraine, I should say. And guess who's not happy about it? Guess who's not happy about this development? Our old friend Colin Liddell, who became a Russophobe rather suddenly, like 3 years ago. It was a rather shocking change on his part, and it was that development and my disinclination to go along with that development that led to our final separation, and me breaking with him and with what was then affirmativeright.com or affirmativeright.blogspot.com. So here's boy, this, and you know how Colin gets rather grouchy. He's pretty grouchy here when things aren't going the way that he wants them to go. He's pretty grouchy. He's pretty upset. He's pretty dyspeptic. Trump surrenders to Putin, but tries to press the white flag into Europe's hands. Yes, Colin Liddell is the savior of Europe. He's rushing to Europe's defense. He wants Europe to be saved from anti-globalist forces in the United States and elsewhere. He's rushing. he's made an about face in just about every way. He loves the WEF now. He hasn't said that, but he might as well say that. That's just the kind of guy he's become. And now we know what the 2024 election was all about. Trump, through his surrender monkey Pete Hegseth, has finally laid his cards on the table. Basically, Orange Hitler's position is one of total surrender to a battered and bruised Vladimir Putin. So, some people are happy that there's going to be a negotiated peace, that this war that nobody wanted isn't going to keep on raging, that Ukrainians aren't going to keep dying in this charnel house of a war, along with Russians and Ukrainians both. No, there's going to be a negotiated peace. There's going to be some kind of settlement, and it's not going to be dictated by NATO imperialists and NATO hegemonic advocates wanting to use the proxy state of Ukraine as a way to for full spectrum dominance. No, it's looking like they're heading towards a negotiated peace that will accept certain realities on the ground. The position outlined by Hegseth is more than what you would expect from a Vichy French diplomat. So he's already called him Orange Hitler. He's called Colin. I mean, I wrote a satirical article a little while ago talking about how Colin Liddell was going to be taking the new spot at MSNBC, with his newfound Russophobia and rooting on aggressive American foreign policy and NATO expansionism and so forth. that he was going to take Rachel Maddow's place, that Rachel Maddow had gotten a little soft and Colin Liddell was going to take her place. I still have that satirical article written on my Substack page. But look, that was some hyperbole I was using in that article, but not much. Look, Trump is Orange Hitler, and Hegseth is like Vichy France. It's all Hitler, 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 which is especially ironic. It's especially ironic considering that the fighting forces of Ukraine were largely composed of neo-Nazis. A fact that the Ukraine boosters rarely ever acknowledge, and if they do, they try to spin it in such a way that makes it sound like it's really not so bad. Anyway, but no, it's Trump who's Hitler, and it's Hegseth who's a collaborator with Vichy, a Hitler collaborator. So there you go. So the main points are letting Putin keep the parts of Ukraine he holds, and then recognizing it. No NATO membership for Ukraine. No U.S. keeping troops for Ukraine. No Section 5 provision for European peacekeeping troops in Ukraine. All of these things that the neocons, must be pulling their hair out about this, and Colin Liddell is among them. Ukraine to pay for previous U.S. aid with $500 billion worth of its minerals. Make no mistake about it, this is craven surrender by Trump and USA in the face of a blatant aggressor who already had its guts ripped out. Yes, they were just getting slaughtered on the battlefield. That's why. And they barely had anything left. That's what we were hearing month after month after month after month from the neocons, the neocon types, that these sanctions were driving Russia to their knees. Trump is snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. He's one of the, this is a stab in the back, from the, who was it that Corporal Hitler, what Corporal Hitler called them, the October, the October traitors or something. Russia's already crumbling. So why a few more months of this, and Russia would be just dead and dying, but no, no, and Ukraine's not. Ukraine's in a great position, right, Colin? They're in a very strong position right now. They haven't seen thousands and thousands of their young men die. They haven't had their election suspended with this Zelensky in charge and only demanding more and more war and more foreign aid and more taxpayer funded aid from the United States, and so forth and so on. So he goes on from there. In effect, what Trump is doing is waving the white flag and then quickly pressing it into the hands of the Europeans. So they will be the only ones to look weak. Okay. Their best option is to say, fuck you, Trump, cast aside, and keep helping Ukraine until Russia cracks. Well, that's not going to happen, because they're nothing without American money. The Europe that you're advocating for, the Europe that you're saying should take up arms for Ukraine, they know that NATO would be nothing without the United States. And that's just the way it is, without the military might of the United States, and that's just the way it is. And I'm not saying that as somebody who's an advocate for the military-industrial complex of the United States. Quite the contrary. Anyway, so he ends rather dyspeptically. My guess is the Europeans won't have the balls to do this. but I think they will have enough twisted passive aggression to find a way to somehow derail this low-grade piece of diplomatic detritus, along with Trump's equally ludicrous peace plan for Gaza. Yeah, the thing about the stuff with Gaza, I'm dubious of that too. But this article, dancing surrender monkey. This is Colin Liddell at his finest, at his most entertaining, at his grumpiest, at his orneriest, and I recommend you reading this immediately and give Colin your support. He's not in a good place right now. He's not very happy with this development.